JDM simply stands for Japanese Domestic Market. This refers to the vehicles exclusively created to be sold in Japan. There are some exceptions to the rules, but in general, a car to be considered a true JDM, it needs to have a number of characteristics. For example, it needs to be right-hand drive, have unique engine variants, and Japan domestic details. The horsepower and gearing on JDM cars also varies depending on the car and for what market it was created for. Most of us ask ourselves, why are JDM cars so famous? One of the reasons is the gentleman's agreement. In 1989, Japanese manufacturers agreed to cap advertised horsepower at 276 to limit street racing. To still win on the racetrack, engineers overbuilt the engines. They made them out of incredibly strong materials, meaning a car sold with 276 horsepower could easily be tuned to 500, 700, or even 1,000 plus horsepower on stock internals. Also, the pop culture exploded. Media like the Fast and the Furious franchise, arcade games like Gran Turismo, and the anime Initial D introduced teenagers worldwide to cars they couldn't buy in their own countries. And finally, an unmatched tuning culture. JDM cars are essentially blank canvases. The aftermarket support is massive, allowing owners to customize everything from wide-body aero kits to sequential gearboxes. The Plaza Accord in 1985 is when global powers forced the Japanese yen to strengthen drastically. To protect their business from surging currency, the Bank of Japan slashed interest rates. Suddenly, borrowing money was practically free. Banks were throwing loans at anyone who owned property. The resulting explosion of cash created a hyperinflated world where the land underneath the Imperial Palace in Tokyo was theoretically worth more than the entire state of California. Because corporations and engineers were absolutely flush with cash, they poured billions into experimental, over-engineered, and incredibly ambitious projects. The unlimited money era gave birth to high and over-engineered electronics, outrageous architectures and theme parks, cultural and media empires, and of course, the golden age of Japanese sports cars. Car manufacturers were given blank checks to build halo cars to showcase Japan's technical dominance. Engineers didn't have to worry about strict budgets, which gave us a golden era of automotive icons. Eventually, the economy crashed and not every project survived. The money vanished, but the incredible machines, art, and infrastructure built during those chaotic years still define how the world views Japan innovation today. Fast forward, currently the JDM culture in Japan has become an endangered species. A perfect storm of economics, shifting generational values, and over-tourism are making this passion disappear. Japan has always made it intentionally difficult and expensive to keep older cars on the road. The main culprit is the shaken, Japan's notoriously strict mandatory vehicle inspection system. Every 2 years, cars must undergo a rigorous safety check. Once a vehicle passes 13 years old, the government increases both the weight tax and the automobile tax. There's also the maintenance trap. Finding parts for 90s icons has become a nightmare. OEM parts are discontinued and aftermarket prices have skyrocketed. On top of that, there is substantial global export drain due to the JDM popularity abroad. For the ones who don't know, there is a United States implemented rule about a 25-year-old car. This means any car 25 years or older can finally be exported outside of Japan. As of now, most iconic JDM vehicles are up for grabs by any international buyer. A local enthusiast trying to buy a clean Nissan Skyline GTR or a Toyota Supra is now competing against wealthy collectors from America, Europe, and Australia. Keenan is part of the D-Works tuning team. He's an expert in exotic, sports, and JDM vehicles.
So the car behind me now, this is my 2005 Ferrari 575M. And I actually wanted one of these cars for quite some time. I remember when it came out in 1996, it was a Ferrari 550 Maranello back then. And I saw it on the front of a Road and Track magazine that my uncle had at the time. And I said, when I grow up, I want one of those. And so I ended up buying this car a little over a year ago. I really didn't think a normal guy like me was capable of buying an exotic car. but with the JDM market, as crazy as it is, it didn't seem as far-fetched to just get an exotic car instead of getting a 30-year-old Japanese car. Because when I saw parts for, because I also have a Toyota Supra. I have a Toyota Supra Mark IV. I messed up my headlights at a track event because they made you tape the headlights. And when I went to go get some new headlights, I was like, yo man, these are really, really expensive. Like, you know what, just out of curiosity, how much are Lamborghini Gallardo headlights? So I looked up Lamborghini Gallardo headlights and they were the same price. And I was like, oh, that kind of lit the fuse there a couple of years ago. That was back in 2018. So I'm like, you know what, why am I doing this? Why am I doing a 30-year-old Japanese car when I can do the exotic car thing? So yeah, long story short, had the car about a year, and yeah, she's been with me ever since.
As Keenan mentioned, the massive influx of US buyers entering the market has completely overwhelmed the existing pool of spare parts. Instead of a localized hobby, the global community is now fishing for the exact same very limited pond. The most popular JDM cars are the Nissan Skyline GTR, Toyota Supra MK4, Mazda RX-7, Honda NSX, and others. Nevertheless, the cult classics for drifting are the Nissan Silvia, some Toyotas, Subarus, and Mitsubishi cars. I will not go into detail about the exact name of each car, as the point of this video is to talk about deeper facts about the social problems within this culture. A common misconception is that automakers keep parts around forever. In reality, most Japanese manufacturers are only legally required to supply replacement parts for about 10 years after a vehicle ends production. Once the window closes, tooling equipment is decommissioned or melted down. Also, because these cars are now worth mid to high six figures, collectors are trying to restore modified cars back to stock. This has completely dried out new old stock inventory and Japanese auction sites. JDM has entered the monopoly game, and who knows if there will ever be enough for everyone. Whatever it is, D-Works is a specialized shop in Japan near Tokyo. Its founder has been through heaven and hell to follow his dream. A dream he started together next to his father over 20 years ago.
So, my name is Daniel. We specialize in building street cars. You know what I mean? Cars that people could enjoy on a daily basis with a little bit more power. After we build a car, I don't need my customers to be solely dependent on my shop to maintain their car. You know what I mean? So we get computers over here tuned and everything, so we don't lock the computers. You can get your laptop, have your full access to it. You can change the tune, you can do whatever you need. Tell me your goals, tell me exactly what you're trying to build to actually accomplish something that sometimes it will be they dream car and so on.
So this car right here is pretty special. This used to actually belong to us here as a shop. This is a Toyota Mark II. And JZX100 for all the gearheads, the chassis code out there. But as you guys can see, it is not a 1JZ, it's a 2JZ. So we did the non-VVT 2J in here. We got the big single on it. And we actually sold it to a friend of ours who was out in Yokohama, Shane. This is his car, but originally this car belonged to us. We built this purely out of scratch. None of this was here. This is our dyno room. This is where we measure how much power a car is putting down. So what we do is we drive it up these ramps here, we lock it down into place, and then we just do 1 to 3rd gear pulls, 1 to 4th gear pulls, and we just roll through the gears and see how much she puts down. That's what it is in a nutshell. Noise canceling padding on the walls. We got noise canceling padding on the roof. We got the LED lighting, and we got silencers here. So what it is basically this is to keep the noise down and to make sure that we don't kill ourselves with carbon monoxide. The room has been completed for about a month because before none of this was here and we were getting noise complaints from like the neighbors and the cops and everything like that. And we work on everything from FD RX-7s like this to 180s as chassis. We've even had a BMW M135 on here before, so we just don't work on JDM cars. We work on just about everything. And unfortunately, not yet. We don't have the 4-wheel drive capacity yet, but that's something that we're working on because eventually we'll want to get the Evos and STIs and all the 4-wheel drive cars in here because we get a lot of inquiries for those cars too. Not a lot of shops have these at their disposal. to be able to measure and do power checks and everything. We get a lot of inquiries for people wanting to do power checks to see how much power that their car's put down. And we get them scheduled, bring them in here, put their car on the dyno, run it, and then yeah, we tell them how much power it makes.
We got into this industry at about, I mean, my dad, when I first came to Japan, 2002, 3, somewhere around that, he had a little small shop. And then I got into it because, I mean, when the sport car industry, it's more likely when he had a 32, and then I ended up buying the car from him. Ran into some problems. I took my car into a tuning shop. They said they fixed the car came back, same issue. Went back again, paid again, got the same thing again, went back 1/3 time, same thing, never got solved. Till I got tired of it, and then I told my dad, it's like, you know what? I never take my car nowhere, so I will just do everything on my own. So from now on, like, I'm gonna learn on how to do it, and then we'll do it all on myself. Fast and forward, 2008, it was a big crash in the Japanese economy, so everything was going downhill. A bunch of foreigners went back home and everything. So like, then most of our clients before, when I used to work with my dad, it was more likely foreigners. So life got a little tougher. I had to move out, work on the electric industry, like the Japanese train rails, like 6-7 years. And then that's where I met Ugo, the guy that does the body work over here. Like, the team would team up together, and then so on, went from there.
Despite the hardships, his faith led him to be one of the most recognizable JDM performance shops in the entire world. Everything from tuning, track racing, street legal, and part restoration. Donnie and his team can do it all. JDM culture is fun and all, but one of the major reasons it is dying is because of new Japanese comers who don't understand the laws and the importance of rules. The data confirms that the accident rate for foreign drivers in rental cars has historically tracking at 4 or 5 times higher than that of domestic drivers in high tourism regions like Hokkaido, Okinawa, and Osaka. This doesn't only affect the people involved in the accidents, but it ruins the whole fun for everyone. Due to the obvious problem, Japanese authorities keep making the rules stricter and stricter. Places that used to be point of gathering for the responsible participants have now become targets for police raids. Tourists jaywalking just to get a picture, engines revving, tires scuffing, all of this is illegal in Japan. So please, if you really are passionate for JDM culture and respect what's left of it, do not support the reckless behavior, including illegal JDM car tours.
We would use these parking areas for exactly what they are for, just resting. Because a lot of times we would go out and we would drive. We'd drive the Aqua Line, we'd drive the Wangan, and we do that all night pretty much. And we just stop in parking areas just to grab a coffee, chat for a minute, laugh, talk. A week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, there was a guy standing there in the middle of the road, just looking at me, filming on his phone, just standing there. And so finally I looked at him and I beeped the horn, and then he finally moved out of the way. And it's like, I don't know. I don't really like how things are so mainstream now, to the point where it's kind of like a petting zoo. People come there just to see what's going on. I get messages all the time on the regular. Hey, I'm going to be in Japan on July 21st, and I was wondering if you can give me a ride so I can experience car culture and take me to these places. Like, why in the hell would I want to take somebody I don't know around and taxi them around to show you something that I've been a part of for the past 11 years of my life? But it seems like there's more people who are participating in car culture who are not truly into cars now. They're just looking for attention, especially with social media taking over.
I mean, I'm just a guy following the dream. And then you have a car or a problem or whatever it is that we can help with, come by, feel free to reach out to us on the social media, on every other platform, and then we'll go from there.